Plus Beauty, and I'm so glad you're here with me to look at happiness habits. These are things that I have learned along the way that have made a huge difference in my life, and I hope they'll enrich yours as well. First, if you're not a subscriber, I hope you'll subscribe and click the little bell. That way you'll get notification of my future videos and you won't miss anything. First, I have to tell you that in the first half of my life, I struggled a lot with kind of negative feelings, mild borderline depression, that kind of thing. It was just something that was always kind of in me. I think actually that some of us are born with less of a happiness potential because we're born with maybe low blood sugar issues where our moods go up and down, or we're born with low serotonin, the happiness chemical, and low dopamine, which is the chemical that makes us feel that we're a part of others, part of the group, that kind of thing. I have had to learn over the years to change my thought habits. And I have realized that happiness really doesn't come in externals. I always used to think if I get a certain car, if I get a house, if I have a baby, all of these externals, I thought those things would make me happy. What I came to realize is that any external change makes you happy for a day up to a week, but then it becomes the norm and you're really not happy anymore and you need the next thing, unless you change your thought patterns. And I'm going to be telling you about a wonderful book that really helped me become happy. And as you can see, I've got my little bookmark in it because I've started to reread it again. Because once I started on YouTube, I kind of thought, oh, this will make me so happy because this is kind of a dream for me. I used to be in TV, local TV news long ago. And so I thought this will make me happy. And it does to a certain extent. But the most important thing is to keep doing happiness habits. Because again, even having a YouTube channel, is not the be-all end-all to happiness. What's the be-all end-all happiness for me is creating good positive thought habits to keep me feeling good about my life and feeling good about myself. Okay, I can't tell you everything that is in this book, and I'll put a link below because it is phenomenal. And it's not only the book, but it comes with a little I Can Make You Happy CD. This guy is actually a British man, Paul McKenna, and he has written a variety of books, and I'll put links below, on a lot of different things. Everything from I Can Make You Confident, I Can Make You Rich, I Can Make You Stop Smoking, I Can Make You Lose Weight. And believe me, I've gotten a lot of his books over the years, and he is a really good secret for me. Not really the hypnosis part so much, although the little CD is kind of a meditation you can listen to that goes along with the book. But the best things in Paul McKenna's books to me is, number one, the scientific research that he shares with you that backs this stuff up, and also the very easy, simple, concrete habits that make one happier in this case. And I'll put links to several of Paul McKenna's books below. Okay, let me tell you about 3 of the most important things that I read in this book. He calls this little tool he gives you the instant rescue. Number one, stand tall, look up. When you look up, that naturally increases levels of your serotonin and your dopamine. It's actually a little happiness booster every time you look up. He gives you a little exercise to do. I won't take you through the exercise, but basically it is using your eyes, and you look up for 30 seconds, and then you look up, down, up, down, up, down. And then you look up to the left, up to the right, left, right, a certain number of times. And then you do like a figure 8 with your eyes and a figure 8 the other way. And he takes you through this little eye exercise that takes just a minute or two. But amazingly, after doing this and looking up, you feel lifted and you feel better. This idea is also supported by research. And so another habit that I get into on a constant basis, and he tells you to do this in your book, is to look up. So when I'm driving, I'm looking at the tops of buildings as I go. I'm looking, at the skyline. I'm looking outside of myself and looking up. And actually, it results in a lot more happiness. So that's tip number 1. And another great happiness tip that I found in the book that I really love is an exercise that over 30 days, and really you should use it indefinitely, which I am doing, and I really find it to be helpful. This exercise gives you the habit of really looking at the things that you're grateful for and the happy experiences in your life. Here's what you do. He has you choose 3 or 4 really positive experiences from your past. It's anything you remember where you felt totally happy on top of the world. And my 3 are the day my son Dylan was born, because literally me and my husband, we were young, we were surprised by that pregnancy, but it was like we knew God. I mean, for the first 3 days after my son's birth, it was like the world opened up and we felt love like you would never believe. So that is one of my happiness things. Basically, you choose 3 really happy moments in your life and think back for a minute to think of the happiest moments that you've had in your life and pick 3 or 4 of those. And then what you do is you take these little coding labels, they're called, and they come in all different colors. I have 12 of them all over different parts of my house and my work and my car. And that's what you do is you stick these like on light switches, on your monitor. I've got one here on my monitor that reminds me to think happy. On your mirror, you know, just everywhere in your house, home, and car. Every time you see one of these, you remember and feel the good feelings associated with one of your happy thoughts. So it just kind of trains you to get yourself out of yourself and to remember that you have a really happy life and you've had a lot of happiness in your life. So that's part of the 30-day experiment, which this seems awfully kind of impossible to me. You're supposed to smile and or laugh for 20 minutes a day. So you just get yourself more into laughing and smiling. The scientific research actually does back this, that when you smile, you do increase your serotonin. And when you laugh, it's very, very good for you. So you do that. And the third thing is you do 20 minutes a day of any form of exercise, at least 20 minutes. And that does increase your serotonin and your dopamine as well. And the funny thing about this 30-day experiment, it was developed by a psychologist named William Holden, and in fact they call him the happiness psychologist. He is over in England, and he was doing this study for the BBC, their television station there. And what he did was he took a group of depressed patients and he did a brain scan in the frontal lobe area where you can see kind of the activity that would indicate happiness. These people were legitimately depressed. He had them do the 3 things, and at the end of 30 days, not only did they report feeling much happier with themselves and their lives, but their brain scan showed that the happiness was actually now hardwired into their brain, so to speak. And their brain was looking like the brain of a happier person. The results were so unbelievable that the BBC thought, well, maybe the machine was broken because this seems incredible that you can do this stuff for 30 days and it changes your brain chemistry. So they checked the machines and they were fine. They made them duplicate the test again, same results. And then they followed up 6 months later with these people, and they were markedly happier than they were at the start before they'd started the experiment. Now, the third thing I found most useful from this book was a way to deal with negative thoughts. Because sometimes I would like to have the mind of a man. It seems like, you know, they're basically happy, they go through life, they don't second guess things the way we women sometimes do, they don't have all this emotional baggage, they don't think, well, she said this, what does that mean? They just seem a little more straightforward about things. I've always wanted a brain more like that. And I realized that I was having a lot of negative messages going through my brain on a continual basis and that was not doing me any favors. Well, this book gives you a way to deal with that. And it's very realistic in that it doesn't say just, you know, stop and don't think negative and just think positive. It actually gives you a little tool to use, which I found quite useful. And here is the tool. Say your thought is, oh gosh, I look so fat. Go ahead and let yourself think that, oh gosh, I look so fat. And then you say, and then you put something happy on the end of it, something that makes you happy. My happy is, and Dylan and Colin love me, which are my 2 sons, because it makes me happy to think that they love me. In other words, you have a negative thought, oh, I feel like I'm worthless, and Dylan and Colin love me. It helps you develop a habit that immediately when you think any kind of a negative thought, you add, and Dylan and Colin love me. And so it basically, you start to have negative thoughts, start to feel down, but then it lifts your mood at the end and it makes you happy. And the neat thing is, it's kind of like a conditioned response. Very soon, immediately when you start to think a negative thought, you go to that, and Dylan and Colin love me. And so you start living in the happy thought rather than in the negative thought. That is my happiness info for the day. And I will tell you, I absolutely love this book. The CD that goes along with this book, I didn't love it as much as the CD that actually comes with the I Can Make You Confident book. This is another book that I've used along the way, and I love this. But this CD is absolutely wonderful. And to me, this is kind of like a happiness CD for me. Although I really read the happiness book and follow the tools and techniques in that book, I really like the CD on I Can Make You Confident better because it makes me feel very happy when I listen to this. And he is actually a hypnotist, which is just a fancy word for a psychologist who does, you know, meditation DVDs or whatever. My parents are psychologists, so I have a little more realistic view of hypnotists, I guess. That is my information on happiness. And if you have things you have done that have helped make you happy, then please mention it in the comments below. Now, if you're not a subscriber, I hope you'll go ahead and subscribe and click the little bell. That way you'll be notified of my future videos. We would love to have you join our family of 50+ beauties. Now, I always like to leave you with a thought for the day, and I've been using this card deck, The Language of Letting Go. So I will just open this card deck and we will see what the universe has in store for us. Okay. Ooh, this looks like a good one. Acknowledging My Desires. Awesome card, pretty lady on the front. It says, "Today I will release the belief that my needs are never met." Oh, I love that. Release that stupid thought that my needs aren't met. I will acknowledge my desires, then turn them over to my higher power, God, the universe, whoever your higher power is. My wants and needs are not an accident. Woo, God created them when He created me. I love this. That means that our wants and desires in our heart, that God or the universe placed them there, and that they're there for a reason. If you have dreams and desires in your heart, my feeling is that it's never too late, and your second half could be the time when you make those dreams and desires come true. Take care. See you next time.